we have to check the genuineness of the chart. And for checking the genuineness of the chart, we have to look at the significations of moon, and we have to look at the significations of its star lord, which is Venus. Okay. Now, if you look at moon, moon is neither in 2, nor it is in 5, nor it is in 11. It is not neither posted in 2, nor in 5, nor in 11. What does this mean? That moon is not fulfilling the requirement which we have for a chart to be genuine. But I said that if moon is not fulfilling, we have to proceed to Venus. If I look at Venus, Venus is there in the second cusp. Venus is not there in the fifth cusp. It is there in the 11th cusp. So 2 and 11, they are the two sporting cusps for the fifth cusp. Thereby, the query of this lady, that is genuine. Okay.
Here Venus means it's a star lord of moon, right, sir?
Venus means what? See, moon. Moon is in the star of Venus.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So then, Venus is in the second cusp, which is one of the important cusps for the childbirth, and it is in the 11th cusp. So 2 and 11 ensure the childbirth to this particular native, and since it is present in the required cusp, therefore this query is genuine. Okay. This is how you check the genuineness. Now, had Venus not been in 2, not been in 5, had it been only in 11, even then, that query is genuine. Is it okay?
And 2 and 5 is not required. They
No, no,
even
no.
though even the
Two and see what I said was primary cusp is very important. First, we have to focus on primary cusp, and if primary cusp is not there, then we have to focus upon the supporting cusp. And even if supporting cusp are not there, then we proceed to the star lord. And for the star lord, we follow the same procedure. We follow the same procedure. Okay, so it is important. I said
Sorry,
that yeah, if I am to check about the genuineness,
sorry, sir. I
suppose,
just I was
suppose,
just
so
chatting with ma'am. Could you please repeat that? Sorry, sir.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, no problem. So what I said was we were talking about the genuineness of this chart. Now to check the genuineness of this chart, I have to look into what is the promise given by moon. Now moon has to be in the second cusp or it has to be in the primary cusp, that is the fifth cusp for the first child. It has to be in the 11th cusp. So moon is neither in 2, nor in 5, nor in 11, nor it is posted in 2, nor in 5th, or nor in 11. It means that moon is not satisfying the first condition, which is important for the genuineness of a chart. But if moon is not satisfying the condition, we have to proceed to its star lord. Moon is in the star of Venus. And if we look at Venus, Venus is there as sub-sublord of the second cusp and as a star lord of the 11th cusp. So appearance of Venus in 2 and 11 satisfies the condition for this chart to be genuine,
Yes.
right? So this is important. Now, see, star lord is not present in the primary cusp.
And it's posited in second cusp.
It is posted in the second cusp, a supporting cusp.
Yes.
And child will add to the family by virtue of the second cusp. Second cusp is what? Addition to family, right? Fifth cusp is what? Progeny, procreative power. 5 and 11 refers to procreative power. 2, 5, and 11 means that the birth of the child, the procreative power can be, it can lead to the birth of the child. And if no 2 is present, then the childbirth will not happen. So, having a procreative power does not mean that the childbirth is ensured. Childbirth is ensured only if 2 is present along with 11 or 2 is present along with 5. Either 2 or 11 or 2 or 5. Is it okay? So
Yes, sir.
here the chart is genuine, right?
So
And
Venus is present in 7 also, no, sir? Here.
7 क्या करेंगे आप? It is the multiple of the fifth cusp.
Uh,
That is what you want to say, na? It is the multiple of the fifth cusp, na? Fifth का multiple हो जाएगा ना? Third from fifth is the multiple of fifth house.
okay, sir.
Means second childbirth can happen, right? See the appearance of moon or its star in the primary cusp is the first important point. Now here neither moon nor its star is appearing in the fifth cusp. Second point is moon is not appearing even in 2 or in 11 also, right? And then we look at the star, it appears in 2 and 11, not appearing in 5. So appearance in 2, 5 and 11, because genuineness is to be checked only by appearance in the primary cusp or its supporting cusp. Seventh is supporting to fifth. Okay,
Okay, sir.
right?
Kapilji, so only 11 is available. Only
Ah,
in
if only 11 is available, it means that the person has a strong urge for
neither
the query.
neither 2
Strong
nor
urge for the query.
no, in commitment and sorry, it is in
Then,
environment commitment. There
then
is
look
no
here. Then what we will
2 or
do?
5.
Now, if only 11 is there, we will proceed to the
Can you?
cuspal interlink table to check the significations of moon. Right? So moon, through Venus is giving me 2 and 11, and moon through Mercury is giving me 2, 5 and 11, means it is giving a strong promise for the event of childbirth.
That is okay. That's in this case there is no problem. But for other case, suppose 11 is available in involvement and commitment. There is no 2 and 5.
But we'll have to proceed to the sublot to check it.
So in
We
this
will
case,
have to proceed to the sublot to check the promise. How do you read moon? Significations of moon.
star lot and sub lot.
Yes.
That is okay, sir. In the star lot, in the involvement, in the commitment, there is no 2 and there is no 5. Only 11 is available. Then can we proceed?
The- see, there are see, there are two different answers to your problem. First is that suppose moon through its star lord is appearing in 11. Okay,
Yes, sir.
we will proceed to its sub.
Yes, sir.
And if its sub is giving 5 and 11,
We
then
can
it is
see
giving a promise of the event. Okay.
that is okay. NC is completed.
That is
Suppose
the yes, that is the first case. The second case is that moon through the star lord is giving 11,
yes, sir.
and through the sub lord is also giving 11.
Yes.
No 2, no 5.
Yes, sir.
No 2, no 5.
Ah.
What does this mean? That is not giving the promise.
The strong desire is there.
Yes, strong desire is there, but promise is not there.
There is no problem. Yeah, okay.
Or still you have a doubt? See, if moon is appearing in 11 and through its star lord is also appearing in 11, it means the person has an urge for the fulfillment of his desire. Okay. Now, to have an urge for the fulfillment of desire would not mean that the desire will be fulfilled. He's simply having an urge for it. कि मेरा काम हो जाना चाहिए. It will happen or it will not happen will depend whether 2 and 5 are there or not. Hanji, is this point clear?
Oh, sir.
Yes,
Clear.
ma'am.
Clear.
Sir, kindly repeat once again, sir.
See, required cusp for the event. So the chart is genuine. And now, when the chart is genuine, we will have to look into the ascendant sub-sublord, the fifth sub-sublord, and then the 11th sub-sublord. Now, the fifth and 11th sub-sublord is Mercury, whereas the ascendant sub-sublord is Venus. Venus we have already discussed. Now, if you look at Venus, Venus is involving 2 and 11, committing by 5, and final confirmation again 2 and 11. So Venus is the ascendant sub-sublord is giving a promise for the event to happen. Then you take the case of Mercury. Mercury has a PS, involves 2, 5, and 11, commits to 2, 5, and 11, and final confirmation through 5. Very strong promise for the event to happen. So, all the three, the primary cusp, the supporting cusp, or I'm sorry, the ascendant sub-sublord, the fifth sub-sublord, and the 11th sub-sublord, they are all promising the event to happen. Thereby, this event of childbirth is likely to happen. Right? So, after having checked the genuineness and after having checked the promise of the ascendant sub-sublord, the fifth sub-sublord, and the 11th sub-sublord, the next point is that we have to now check what we have to find out.
Event is early or delay?
No, you can't say like that.
Oh.
It's a event of childbirth. There cannot be a delay like how the marriage is delayed. There can be either no childbirth or there can be a childbirth. You get the point. Either you get it or you don't get it. It is not that you are getting the event promise of the event of childbirth and then you are getting the child after 1.5 years. That would all depend upon the dasha bhukti and antara,
Promise is
Suppose
promise
for
is
the present case, in the present case, the question is that the lady, she she had asked the astrologer that she did not have the menstrual cycle for this month. यानी last month से उसको she did not have the menstrual cycle. So
okay. Right.
instead of going to a doctor, she asked the astrologer whether I have conceived or not. Okay, that was her first question. Second question was that if I have conceived, then what will be the approximate day time when she is going to have the child? And the third question was that what will be the sex of that child if she gets the child? So these were three questions which she has posed to the astrologer. Okay. So here now, in the present case, she has already, passed one cycle. She did not have the menstrual cycle for almost a month, maybe beyond that also, maybe 1.5 months. Okay. Now, the question is the first question she has posed to the astrologer is that whether she has conceived or not. Okay. So, whether she has conceived or not, then how do we answer such questions? Now, what is important is that whenever Jupiter, if you remember in my earlier lecture also, I have pointed out that whenever Jupiter is in the ninth house, is in the fifth house, is in the 11th house, or it is in the Lagna, it ensures that the lady must have conceived. I repeat again. See, Jupiter is the Karka of childbirth. Okay? And as Jupiter is the Karka of childbirth, so the presence of Jupiter in ninth position, ninth house, in 11th house, in Lagna, in fifth house, ensures that the lady has conceived. This is true for almost 80% cases.
What is the requirement of the 9?
मैं अभी बता रहा हूँ. I'm just coming to that. Okay. Now, in the present case for this particular chart, look at the sign which is placed in the fifth house. It is Aquarius sign.
Yes, sir.
Lord of Aquarius is,
Saturn.
and Jupiter is aspecting
Saturn.
on which date? 28/11/2011. Now, what does this ensure? That the lady must have conceived. Okay.
Okay.
I repeat again. See, what is important is that Jupiter should directly or indirectly make a contact, make a link with the fifth house, either through its aspect or by presence in fifth house, ninth house, 11th house, and Lagna, or it aspects the Lord of the fifth house. And if it is satisfying these conditions, then there is every probability that the lady must have conceived. In earlier charts, when we discuss, Jupiter was present in the 11th house and aspecting the fifth house. And if you remember it, in 2, 3 charts we have discussed for the first child, then the native, she has conceived. If you remember the charts which we have discussed earlier. So here the simple way to check is that Jupiter should make a relation through its aspect, through its position, or through conjunction in the fifth house. And Lord of fifth house is Saturn. Jupiter is aspecting Saturn in this horary chart, which ensures that the lady has conceived when she had asked the query. Because she has already pointed out that I'm not having the menstrual cycle for the last 1 month. Now, have I conceived or not? So this is how you could get the answer. Is it okay? And to ensure that when a lady is likely to conceive, I have already pointed out that the Jupiter should make a relation with the fifth house or the fifth lord through position, aspect, or conjunction. And this is possible when Jupiter is present in fifth house, in ninth house, 11th house, and in Lagna. These are the 4 positions when Jupiter is posted in these houses. Then there is probability that this event of conceiving may happen, right? So this was the answer to the first query of the lady, that she has conceived, no doubts about it. Okay. Now the second question was that if she has conceived, then when she is going to have the childbirth. Now here the lady stated on 28th 11 2011 that 1 month has approximately passed. She did not give the exact time. She did not give the exact time of her cycle. She simply pointed out that last month I did not have, or this month she did not have, which means that it can be anything between 1 month to 1.5 months, or maybe more than that. It depends upon that particular date. So here, now without going into details for it, what we will do is, we know that the childbirth cannot happen before 9 months in any case, but in certain cases, the childbirth can happen in the seventh month, in the eighth month, or in the ninth month. And if at all the childbirth happens in the sixth month, then the survival of such a child is very, very difficult. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we will have to check that what is the dasha, bhukti, and antara that is running at this period of time, which is 28th of November 2011. When I click it, I get Venus Dasha, Mars Bhukti, and Rahu Antara. For the time being, I will not take into account the Sukshma and Prana. Okay.
Mercury Bhukti is there, sir.
Mercury. Yeah. Venus Dasha, Mercury Bhukti, and Rahu Antara. Right? So, Dasha Lord is Venus, Bhukti is Mercury, and Antara is Rahu. Now, I will have to check into the significations of Venus, Mercury, and Rahu, whether they are going to give the event or not. If I look into the Cuspal Interlink table, if I look into the significations of Venus, Venus is involving 2 and 11, committing by 5, and final confirmation to 2 and 11, which means the Dasha is okay to give the event of childbirth. And you know that the Dasha is to run for a longer period of time. Then the Bhukti here was Mercury, and Mercury we have already discussed in the beginning. It is involving 2, 5, 11, committing 2, 5, 11, and final confirmation to 5. It means the Bhukti is also okay. Right? So Dasha and Bhukti both are okay. Now what about this Antara? Rahu Antara. I will have to check that Rahu Antara starts from which date up to which date. It starts on 29/8/2011. and it ends on 31/1/2012, means it is ending on 31st of January 2012. And if I count the number of my months up to 31st of January 2012, then how much months is there? It is almost the 12 month and 1 month. Am I right? Maximum 2 months are there. The childbirth cannot happen in 2 months. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So since the childbirth cannot happen in 2 months, it means that the Rahu Antara is not a suitable Antara, in spite of the fact that Rahu Antara is also giving me 2 5 11, 2 11, and 2 5 11. You get the point? See, you have to also look into that what is the approximate date that the lady can get the child. Normal time period for getting a child is 9 months. I said that instead of taking 9 months, I could have taken 7 months, 8 months, or 9 months. Now, a child hardly survives in 6 months. It's very rarely when a child survives if he is born in 6th month. So it is 7th month, okay. A child can survive 8th month, it is okay. And 9th month is okay. If I add 7 months to this date, right? Now I can have three possibilities. Now I add 7 months to this date, or I add 8 months to this date, or I add 9 months to this date. 1 month has already passed, approximately 1 month. It can be 1.5 month. It can be more than that. So it means that 28/10/2011, and I'll have to add 7 months to it. So which would mean that it comes approximately, which date is there? 5th or 6th month. Now I put up the date over here, 28/11/2011, and the time is 17:30. 17:30. So Rahu I cannot take as the antara. Then the two antaras which are possible, one is Jupiter and the other one is Saturn. If I take Jupiter as the antara, then how many months would pass? Approximately 7 months,
7.
right? 7 months. So it means I will straight away proceed to Jupiter antara. Now, if I add 7 months to this, then what is the approximate date I am going to get?
28th June.
28th of June. And here, what is the date? 17th of June. It means that the Jupiter antara will also pass. Am I right? So then which antara I am going to have? Saturn antara. And thereby, since the birth of the child cannot happen before a certain time period, I will have to select Saturn antara. And if you look into the significations, Jupiter is giving me 2 5 11 5 and 5. Saturn is involving 2, emitted by 2 5 and 11 and 5. Right? So I will have Saturn as the antara. Why Saturn as the antara? The reason is because the childbirth cannot happen before a certain minimum time period. So
Expecting 7 months.
yes. So if I add that, then Saturn antara starts from 17/6/2012. So I'll put this date 17/12/2000. 2012, 17/6, 2012, and the timing is 2020. Okay, now that is the position which we get. Saturn antara, and the Saturn antara has to be up to which date? It has to be up to 28/11/2012. It means that the birth of the child to this lady will happen in Venus Dasha, Mercury Bhukti, and Saturn Anta. Okay. After fixing the Antara, now what is important? We have to fix the Sukshma. That which out of these 9 planets can be a suitable Sukshma. Okay. So which among these can be a suitable Sukshma? Now, for the purpose of fixing the Sukshma, what is important? That the Sukshma Lord can first, our first priority would be the fifth sub-sublord, then second sub-sublord, and 11th sub-sublord. That is our first priority. So here I have 2 planets. One is Mercury and the other one is Venus. Okay. And if I take the fifth sub-sublord as the first priority for fixing the Sukshma, what is the condition for fixing the Sukshma? The Sukshma Lord should be a co-ruler of the primary cusp and should be co-ruler of one or all the supporting cusps. Is it okay? It should be a co-ruler of the primary cusp or
Yes, sir.
should be a co-ruler of, it should be a co-ruler of what? Co-ruler of
One or all
Primary
supporting.
cusp.
one or all supporting cusps.
So Mercury is stronger.
Mercury is stronger, right? It's very clear from here. Mercury is stronger, right? So Mercury is there in 2, Mercury is there in 5, Mercury is there in 11, right? And if you look at the planets which are in the star of Mercury, then the planets in the star of Mercury is Mercury itself, okay? And another planet that is in the star of Mercury is Rahu. So it means Mercury and Rahu can be the 2 planets which can be the Sukshma lords. Here Mercury, since we have already discussed, is present in all the 3 houses, is a co-ruler of all the 3 houses, 2, 5, and 11. Therefore, we will select Mercury as the Sukshma. Thereby, the childbirth is likely to happen from which date? 13/7/2012 to 6/8/2012. So, I will substitute here the date 13/7/2012. 13/7/2012, timing is 1858. I take it as 2020 only, and I fix Mercury as the Sukshma. Okay. After fixing Mercury as the Sukshma, now we have to fix what? We have to fix the Prana Lord, right? We have to fix the Prana Lord. The how do we do it? For fixing the Prana Lord as well as Sukshma Lord, if you remember, we have
Sun
already discussed that we have to look at the transit of Sun
and Moon.
and finally the transit of Moon. Now, the transit of Sun can happen either in this sign and at the most in the next sign, that is Cancer sign. Why it is so? Because Mercury Sukshma starts from 13/7/2012, remains up to 6/8/2012. So it means that Sun here is at 27 degrees, thereby either it will be present in the Gemini sign or at the most it can be present in the Cancer sign. Okay? Is this point okay? Is
Yes,
this point clear?
yes, sir. Clear.
Only 2 possibilities for position of Sun. Now, how to fix this position? For this purpose, we will have to look into first of all the strength of these 2 signs, Mercury, and the second one is the Cancer, Lord of, I'm sorry, Gemini and the
Gemini and
Cancer.
Cancer.
Gemini, Cancer. Lord of Gemini is Mercury, and Lord of Cancer is Moon. So we will have to compare the strength of these two. Look at the strength of these two. If you compare the strength of these two, then Mercury is involving 2/5/11, committing 2/5/11, and final confirmation through 5. And if on the contrary you look at Moon involving 2 and 11, committing 2, 5, and 11, and final confirmation by 2, 5, 11. Now, which is more stronger?
Moon.
Moon, moon.
Moon is more stronger. So, moon is more stronger. It means that we will have to advance the transit till sun shifts to which sign? Cancer sign. And then sun in Gemini sign is at how many degrees? 27 degrees. So it means it will hardly take 3 days to travel onto this sign. So I will enhance 1 day each till sun shifts to the Cancer sign. Now the position of sun is okay. The transit of sun is okay. And when the when the say transit of sun is okay, the date is 16/7/2012, and 16/7/2012 means the prana can be Mercury, it can be Ketu, it can be any of these planets, right up to 6/8/2012. It can be any of the planets. Now, what is important here that sun is transiting in the sign of moon. Okay. And moon, you, if you look here, is neither co-ruler of 2, nor 5, nor 11. It means whatever sign we have got here, it is on the basis of the significations of moon. So, what is important in horary is that if suppose any planet is transiting in a sign which is not present in the required cusp, then we have to look for the significations of that particular sign lord. And if the significations of the sign lord are very strong, then that particular the transit is okay, or the transit of sun in that particular sign is okay. So here what you find is moon is not in 2, not in 5, not in 11, yet the transit of sun in moon is okay, because moon is a strong significator of the event of childbirth involving 211, committing 2511, and final confirmation by 2511.
So
Okay.
indirectly you are selecting if moon.
Hmm.
Right. Okay. The directly, why do you get Mercury? Direct connection is there now.
Where one? This one?
Moon and Mercury are selected. Mercury is very strong. But directly 2511 is
No, no,
there.
no, no. I am talking about the
This
transit of
selected.
sun in moon sign. I am not talking of anything else. I am talking about the transit of sun in the Cancer sign. What I am telling is, I repeat again what I told, that sun was transiting here on the date when Mercury Sukshma started. Okay. Now sun can maximum transit either in Gemini sign or in Cancer sign. The strength of moon is more as compared to that of Mercury. So the transit of sun in sign of Cancer is okay. Now here Cancer, in Cancer sign, it will remain in the star of Jupiter for how many days?
3 days.
Approximately 3 days. And now what I need to do is I will have to check the strength of the two stars, because in sign of Cancer you have three stars, and the three stars are Jupiter,
Saturn and
Saturn,
Mercury.
and Mercury. Jupiter, Saturn, and Mercury. Out of Jupiter and Saturn, we have to see which is stronger. Jupiter involves 2, 5, 11, commits by 5, and final confirmation by 5. Okay. On the contrary, when you look at Saturn, it involves 2 and commits by 2, 5, 11, and final confirmation again through Jupiter, that is 5. Same in both the cases.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hmm.
Where is the difference? The difference is that Jupiter is in the sub of Jupiter, and what about Saturn? It is in the sub of
Mercury.
Mercury. And Mercury, I've already pointed out in the beginning, it is
Stronger.
stronger. It is involving all the three houses. Thereby, the transit of Sun in the star of Saturn would be preferable. would be better than in the star of Jupiter. Okay, so here in the transit on the date 16/7/2012, Sun was transiting in the Cancer sign in the star of Jupiter. So what I do is I advance it by 3 days, and when I do it, I get Saturn as a star. Now the transit of Sun in the star of Saturn, that is okay. Is it okay? So when I do it, which date I get? 27/2012. And 27/2012 means now I have moved on to the prana of Venus. So the first two pranas I cannot have, neither Mercury nor Ketu. In spite of the fact that Mercury could have been repeated because it is a co-ruler of all the three cusps, yet it is not repeated. Why? Because the transit of Sun that does not favors the reappearance of Mercury as a prana lord. Is it clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
किसी को कोई डाउट हो तो प्लीज आस्क मी क्वेश्चंस. No problem. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir,
Then once you get Mercury Sukshma, you have 9 pranas.
Yes,
Any
sir.
of these pranas is possible. Why any of these pranas is possible? Because almost every planet is giving the event of childbirth. Okay.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Every planet in its significations is giving the event of childbirth. Now the question is how to fix the prana. To do that, what we did was we fixed the transit of Sun. Transit when Mercury Sukshma started, Sun was transiting in the sign of Gemini, Lord of which is Mercury, is very strong. But the transit of Sun in Gemini is less stronger than the transit of Sun in Cancer sign. I've already discussed. Because it commits by 2 5 11 and final confirmation by 2 5 11, and here it commits by 2 5 11 and final confirmation by 5. So moon is a stronger significator of the event of childbirth as compared to Mercury. So that is why we selected the transit of Sun in the Cancer sign. Okay. And then in the Cancer sign, Sun was transiting in the star of Jupiter. There are 3 stars in the Cancer sign: Jupiter, Saturn, and Mercury. So, what we need to do? We need to check all the 3 and we need to find out that which among these is likely to be the appropriate star in which Sun has to transit. So, Saturn is found to be stronger as compared to Jupiter. And since Saturn is stronger, so we have shifted Sun from transiting in the sign of Jupiter to Sun in Saturn star. And when I do it, the date which I am going to get is 27/2012. Time I have not changed. This is the one which we are using it. Okay, continuously we have been using this time. So it is, we will change this time later on. So it is now Sun in transiting in star of Saturn, and this transit is okay. Now the question is, when this transit is okay, 20th 27/2012, then the prana of Mercury as well as Ketu, they have elapsed. So now I am left with how many pranas? From Venus right up to Saturn. Okay. From Venus right up to Saturn. And how we will do it? We will fix the prana now by fixing we have fixed the position of Sun. We will fix the position of Moon. Now before fixing the position of Moon, out of these pranas which I am likely to have, let me theoretically see that which can be the probable pranas that I can have. Sun is not present in 2, 5, and 11. Sun is present in 11 only, and that too at the sign level. Not present in 2, not in 5, 11 at the sign level.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sun
Then,
weak.
Sun is present in the star of Saturn, and Saturn is also present at the sign level in the fifth cusp. Okay, which means that the prana of Sun is weak. Prana Lord has to be a strong one. So it is weak because Sun through its star is linked to the fifth cusp, and that too at the sign level. So we will not take the prana of Sun. Next is Moon, neither in 2 nor in 5 nor in 11. We will reject the prana of Moon. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next is Mars. Mars
Yes.
is the sign lord of
2.
2. Now, what event we are talking about? Addition of child to the family.
Hmm. Is
For
it strong?
addition of child to the family, which cusp is important? Second cusp. So the co-rulers of which cusp are important? Second cusp co-rulers, they are important. Okay. So it means Mars, Mercury, and Venus are very important. Mercury has gone, Venus is there, and Mars is there. Okay. Right?
Ultimately, Mars is stronger.
Mars is stronger. So Mars prana will start from which date? 25/7/2012. So I will change the date to 25/7/2012. Time is 9:29. I take it as 9:30. Okay. Now, after having fixed this, I have to check the position of moon. Whether the transit of moon in this sign is okay or not. Now, what were the rules I discussed for the transit of sun and moon? That they should, first of all, transit in the sign of planets
Which are
which are
posited in second, 5,
5th,
and 11.
11. Now, here I have only two planets, three planets. Rahu has got no sign. It's not sign lord of any, it is not lord of any sign. So we have two planets, Mercury and Venus. Mercury is lord of 3 and 6, and Venus is lord of 2 and 7. Right? Mercury is lord of 3
Yes,
and
sir.
6.
Mhm.
Okay. Mercury is lord of 3 and 6, and Venus is lord of 2 and 7. Sign 2 has gone, 3 has gone, Moon is in sign number 6. Now, here Moon is in conjunction with which planet? Moon is in conjunction with which planet?
Saturn.
Saturn and Mars. Now, when Moon is in conjunction with Saturn, what happens? It
Vish-
delays the event.
Visha
Delays
Yoga.
the event. Punarbu
Punar
Yoga delays the event.
Yes, sir.
We have discussed it number of times, right? So it means that the transit of Moon in Virgo is not okay. If it is so, we will have to. Now we are left with only one sign with us
Go to
for a
Libra.
suitable transit of
Go,
Moon. So
go,
we,
go to Libra.
yes, we will go to the next sign. And if we go to the next sign, the date we are going to have, that is 26/7/2012. And on 26/7/2012, Mars prana is going to complete by 1759. So I will put here 1759 means I will have to put here 1800. Okay. So now what is the prana that I can have? It is Rahu. When moon enters the Libra sign, then the prana which I can have, that will be Rahu. Okay,
Okay, sir.
right? Is it clear? It means that the birth of this child cannot happen before 26th of July 2012 and timings are 18 hours. It cannot happen before this time. Is it clear up to this point?
Hmm. Yes, sir.
So it is Rahu Prana. So the birth of the child will happen in Venus Dasha, Mercury Bhukti, Saturn Antara, Mercury Sukshma and Rahu Prana. It is transiting in Venus sign. Am I right?
Yes.
Venus is co-ruler of two. Okay. Then it is transiting in which sign? Which star? Rahu star.
Swati.
Rahu is what? Rahu is Mars and Mercury. Mercury is there in two. It is okay?
Sorry, you are fixing the moon star. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
I am fixing moon.
Okay. Okay.
Right? See, the transit of moon is very important, na?
Hmm.
So Venus, co-ruler of two. Rahu is Mercury in the natal chart. It's a co-ruler of two. Saturn is not a co-ruler of two. It's a co-ruler of five.
Yes.
And Mars here is a co-ruler of two. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And the prana lord that I am going to have is Rahu. So it means that the birth of the child will happen on 26/7/2012, 18, not before 18 hours in any case. Now the next point is that we will have to fix what? The ascendant.
Yes.
And the ascendant of the childbirth will depend upon what? Co-rulers of the fifth cusp of the native, which are Saturn, Jupiter, and Mercury. That is one. And secondly, the Dasha Bhukti Antara Sukshma. That's the other point. Here also you have got Saturn and Mercury along with Venus. So then how many planets I can have over here?
Saturn, Jupiter.
I can have Saturn, I can have Jupiter, I can have Mercury, I can have Venus.
Yes.
Saturn, Saturn, Jupiter,
Venus.
Mercury,
Venus.
Mercury, and then Venus. Okay?
Yes.
Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, and Venus. These are the planets I can have over here. Now, if you remember, we have discussed that the transit after transiting in the ascendant is rising in the sign of Sagittarius, and after Sagittarius it will be which sign? Capricorn,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
right? And after Capricorn it will be which sign?
Aquarius.
Aquarius. Okay. So the transit of the sign that rises on the ascendant can be Sagittarius, can be Capricorn, or it can be
Aquarius.
Aquarius. Okay. Now, which is the one which is stronger? One thing is clear that from amongst Jupiter and Saturn, Saturn is more stronger than Jupiter. This point we have already discussed. This point we have already discussed earlier.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, we have discussed this point that Saturn, out of Saturn and Jupiter, Saturn is more stronger. Look here. Saturn 2, 5, 11, 5 and 5. Now Jupiter 2, 5, 11, 5 and 5. And Saturn is 2 with 2, 5, 11 and 5. At the sub level, at the commitment level, Saturn is in the sub of Mercury and Jupiter is in the sub of Jupiter. So Mercury is more stronger as compared to Jupiter, and that is why Saturn is more stronger. If Saturn is more stronger, it means that the childbirth will not happen as long as the Sagittarius sign is there. Okay. It will not happen as long as the Sagittarius sign is there. Though Jupiter is appearing as the co-ruler of the fifth cusp. Okay, it is appearing as the co-ruler of the fifth cusp. And Jupiter is in the star of Ketu. Ketu is neither in 2 nor in 5 nor in 11. And Ketu is Venus, which is in 2 and 11. And Ketu is Moon, which is again not in 2, not in 5, not in 11. So the strength of Jupiter is not as strong as Saturn is. It means the transit, the sign that will rise on the ascendant instead of Sagittarius, it should be either Capricorn or it should be Aquarius, the lord of which is Saturn. So what I'll have to do, I'll have to change this sign. And for this purpose, I have to change it in hours. Right? Now when I take the case of Capricorn,
Yes, sir.
In Capricorn, which are the three stars?
Sun, Moon, and Mars.
Sun, Moon, and Mars. Sun is co-ruler of 11 sign lord. We have discussed, not strong. Moon is not in 2, 5, and 11, not strong. And we are only left with Mars. Mars appears both in Capricorn as well as in Aquarius. And in Aquarius, along with Mars, you have Rahu. And if you look at Rahu, Rahu has a PS and is present in the second cusp. And which event we are talking about? Addition of child to the family. So it means the sign that should rise on the ascendant should be
Aquarius.
which sign? It should be
Aquarius.
Aquarius. It should be Aquarius. So I further change it. Aquarius sign. Okay. So Aquarius sign Saturn is there. Saturn is as the Antra Lord. Right? Rahu is there. Rahu is there. Rahu is here as the Prana Lord. Mercury is there appearing here also, and is also appearing as the co-ruler. And what now we need to do is we need to check Jupiter because Jupiter is also there. And when I check Jupiter, then I have to see a relation between Jupiter and Rahu.
Jupiter and Rahu.
Jupiter and Rahu.
Mm.
So I have to check the relationship between Jupiter and Rahu. So
Rahu.
Jupiter and Rahu, they are not related.
Rahu is in star. Saturn.
No,
Saturn star.
no. Both are not linked to each other. Na? Now, what relations I need to check? Number one, Rahu should be linked to the fifth sub-sublord. So Rahu is Mercury, it is linked to the fifth sub-sublord. Okay. Second relation is that Rahu in the transit chart,
So Rahu is
the
Mars,
moon
not
star.
Mercury.
Ah,
Rahu is Mars.
Rahu,
Okay, Mercury. Yes, sir.
it is Mercury.
In
Now you
Prashna
have to
chart.
check it in
Prashna chart.
natal chart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then, now the second point is that Rahu has to be linked to the sub-sublord of the ascendant. So Jupiter and Rahu, they are not linked in the transit chart. Jupiter is Moon, Jupiter, Mars. Rahu is Saturn, Venus, Rahu. So instead of Jupiter, what I can have over here is
Rahu.
either I move a few seconds back to get Rahu, okay, or I move ahead to get the next planet. So I would change it
Back.
1 minute each. It changes to Saturn. Now, is Saturn linked to Rahu? Is Saturn linked to Rahu? Yes, Saturn is linked to Rahu. So this is okay. This is okay. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So the date of birth of this child is 26th of July 2012, and the time is 21 hours 1 minutes. Now the time has not been provided by the person, the native. She has not told at which time. She simply reported that the childbirth has happened on 26, and she did not give this time. So this is how we calculate the time. Okay. Find the sex of the child.
Arc.
Arc and Raj.
Or which cusp?
Fifth.
First cusp.
Why first cusp?
No, fifth.
No, whatever, like we have found the birth chart, no? Birth chart
No,
of
no,
the
no.
child.
This is the horary chart, na. Birth chart, so you have to cast it.
No, we found the
Birth.
date and time, no, sir? We can't use
No,
that.
no, 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 no. You will have to cast a chart, na. This is the date you are getting the childbirth.
We will cast this chart and then we can see, no?
Then you can see, right? But what is the other way to check the sex of the child? Because this is one of the question which was asked by the native. The native is a lady. She asked the question. So
Sorry,
which
is the date
which
of the judgment. Date of the judgment you have to say.
which
Yes, sir.
cusp which cusp we need to focus?
Fifth.
Fifth cusp.
Fifth fifth cusp. The
Right.
answer is absolutely wrong.
No, why?
No, it's absolutely wrong. For men, it is fifth cusp. For the partner, the fifth cusp to the seventh cusp would be the 11th cusp. So if a female is asking, if a female native is asking about the sex of the child born to her, then you have to see it through the 11th cusp sub sublord and not the fifth cusp sub sublord. Is it okay?
Sir.
Is it okay? This is another point which you need to keep in mind. It is given in the book.
Yes.
It is given in the book.
Acha.
It is already given in the book.
Okay.
Go through the pages of Kalamsa book, you will find this point. Right? So if it is a female native who is asking about the sex of her child, then it has to be through the 11th cusp, not the fifth cusp.
Acha. Male chart for 5.
Male chart 5, female
Acha.
chart
11.
11th cusp.
7.
Okay. 11th. So 11th cusp means, now what will be the sex of the child?
Male.
Male. So the male was born to this lady. Male was born to this lady. Is it okay now?
Okay.
Right? So this is how we check it now. So the points are genuineness, ascendant sub-sublord, fifth sub-sublord, 11th sub-sublord. All the three should give the promise. Then from the to the given date, you have to add the number of months. And by adding the number of months, you have to check the Dasha Bhukti Antra. Dasha and Bhukti, you have to check whether they are promising the childbirth or not. Only the promise is to be seen. And then Antra, you have to fix. Fix. How do you fix it? By adding the number of months to this, you can fix the Antra. Okay. After doing it, after fixing the Antra, you have to fix what? You have to fix the Sukshma and Prana. And the Sukshma and Prana has to be fixed following the set rules. And the set rules are that they are co-rulers of the fifth cusp. If fifth cusp co-rulers have already elapsed in the Vimshoti Dasha order, then you have to focus upon the second cusp. Right? And then finally, similarly, you have to, after theoretically, having an idea about the Sukshma Lord, you have to look at the transit of the sun. And by fixing the transit of the sun, you automatically fix the Sukshma Lord. Once you do it, then you have to fix the Prana Lord, and the Prana Lord is to fix the Prana Lord again, the same method, the same procedure is to be followed. And then the transit of moon, that is important. That will help to identify the exact Prana Lord for the event. Now, after doing all this, still the exercise is not complete. You have to fix the ascendant in the childbirth, and the ascendant for the childbirth is fixed on the basis of the co-rulers of the fifth cusp plus Dasha, Bhukti, Antara and Sukshma of the Dasha period lords. So select the common planets, minimum 4 are required, and you fix all the 4 over here. Then how to fix the sign which rises on the ascendant? Again, you have to follow the same procedure. You have to check that which sign is more stronger, whether it is 9 more stronger, or it is 10 more stronger, or it is 11 more stronger. How the strength will be dependent? It will be dependent first upon the signification, and secondly, it will be dependent upon the stars. In Sagittarius, you have Ketu, Venus, and Sun. Okay. In Capricorn, you have got Sun, Moon, and Mars. And then in Aquarius, you have got Mars, Rahu, and Jupiter. And since Rahu is appearing here, so we will focus mainly on the Aquarius sign. This is how you need to do it. And suppose none of the planets is present in 2, 5, and 11. Suppose, if that is the case, then you have to focus on this sign. Mars, 1 and 8. Is it okay? No, I'm sorry, 11, this sign. Either 10 or 11. Fifth Lord, you have to focus on the fifth Lord. That's all.